Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Pencil live stream with me, Tom Edwards, the head of content here at Pencil. So this week I am very excited to be joined very shortly by my friend Alex Enache, better known as Alex Northstar, who is an AI automation consultant, and we're going to be going through all sorts of practical ROI-driven tips and tricks on how to get the most out of automating your workflows with AI. Just briefly, while he gets himself set up, I'm going to run you through a few of the housekeeping bits that we've got going on here at Pencil. So first up, we are very excited to have been awarded a Diageo Supplier Award with our friends over at Oliver, who are a brand tech partner of ours. So well done, everybody on the Diageo teams across Pencil and Oliver. Amazing job, brilliant to see. That's gone out on all of our socials. Next update is that the After Effects integration has now gone live into production on Pencil, on the Pencil platform. So you can now all access the After Effects integration. And then finally, on the product side, bulk invites are now live as well. So you can get as many of your teammates as you want live on the platform all at once and start collaborating straight away. I've just seen that I believe Alex has joined me. So Alex, feel free to switch your camera on if you're there with us. Hey, how are you doing? Looking sharp as always.
1 2 1 2. Is this working, Tom? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you. I can see you. Yeah, looking
Looking
gorgeous as
fabulous,
always.
Tom. I haven't seen you like in what 1 year or
I
something.
know.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm
it's been a
happy to
while.
see you.
Yeah, it's been
I
a
am
while.
happy to see you. Looking good,
Um,
huh?
Yeah, you
Looking
too,
good.
man. You too. You too. So yeah, look for people watching. So Alex came on to. I did a video with you way back. I don't know even how long. Maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, back when AI was kind of new, or it felt new anyway. And since then, you've been working with enterprises all over the world. I've seen you doing like keynote speaker opportunities at big AI events. So you're clearly now uh, like a leading voice in the AI workflow automation space. So it's great to see, and yeah, really great to have you on the Pencil live stream. So how are you doing? How are things?
Tom, I'm doing amazing. I am happy that I started this stuff in 2019 when back then nobody believed in AI. If you'd go on Google search, right, Google Trends, and you would search for the keyword AI, you would have found it twice per month. And that was because I was searching for it. Today, if I would take a shot of vodka every time I hear the word AI, I would be dead by 9 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a great time to work with this kind of stuff. I've been working hard in the last 1 year and a half all over the globe. People are understanding more and more how this technology works, and it's good. I think it's a good mission to basically put AI to work for people. That's where I'm at. That's what I've been doing for smaller size business, for founders, for also a couple of enterprise clients, and it's working. It's not what the gurus are promising you, but it's working really well. And today I'm going to share with you and a nice audience some tips that we gained in the last 2 years working with this stuff. So I'm excited to be here.
Amazing, amazing. Well, look, it's great to have you on. And you know, I see in your social feeds there's lots of like practical tips and tricks on AI and commentary on the space as well.
Also,
So look,
memes. I've been experimenting with memes lately. It seems that
memes.
people enjoy to laugh at the failures of AI, but also be educated a little bit. That's an interesting dynamic to keep in mind.
Okay,
Because AI
okay.
is not that good yet with memes. Think about
Yeah. Well, look, it's not perfect, right? And you know, we talk a lot about how um, you know, humans in the loop still are absolutely necessary, and it's a big, you know, for at Pencil, that's a big part of our kind of position in the market is that we're a tool for people, not a replacement for people. You know, creative teams are still absolutely fundamental to getting the most out of the technology.
it. Yes.
So look, in terms of the business that you're running day to day, where are you seeing the most impact from AI in, you know, in 2025, and like how's that changed over time?
It's becoming more impactful in the boring niches. I can tell you that. So, what do I mean? Because in the beginning, of course, the easy wins is usually go in marketing, right? You help the marketing folks make content faster, write faster, this kind of stuff. It's becoming more and more practical though for like these kind of underserved, more boring niches like accounting, roofing companies and stuff
Yeah.
like that, real estate, where people, when I talk with them and I show them a couple of workflows, like a couple of prompts, chat GPT, and it's like, whoa, it can do that. Because you got to think, these people, AI is not their bread and butter, right? That's
Yeah.
why I noticed when I talk with a lot of industry leaders and, consultants and stuff like that, when we talk about like RAG and implementation, stuff like that, we all know this stuff. You go to a person that works in constructions and makes like $7 million per year with their company, they're like, oh, AI can even create images. That's interesting, right? So they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know because they didn't even try. They didn't press the buttons. They heard about it, but they don't care. Now, when you go to them and you tell them, hey, we can improve your accounting, to do it faster, to not, have your people do the same things like it's 2012, they're like, oh, I would love to have that, right? So I'm slowly seeing use cases where we go a little bit away from the usual marketing content game and actually putting more effort into the business operations, the daily stuff.
Right. Yeah. And that's across the spectrum of text generation, video generation, image generation. Like, are those these kind of businesses that you're speaking to kind of open to all of the above, or is there a particular kind of format that you're finding impact with?
They're open to all of the above, but we focus on a specific framework that we have. I call it SAC, which is Solution Attention Closing. You see, a lot of times, one of the mistakes that we had in the past is when there was this excitement phase, everybody wants to hear about AI. But AI in itself, it's just a tool. It's not a thing that creates a business. It's a tool,
Mm,
right? So I tell
100%.
them, right. So I tell them you need a solution for your business. When they call me, I'm not gonna just throw tools at you, like throw AI tools at you and hope for the best. Like, what is your business solution currently? Like, what is your business doing to help other people out there, right? You tell me the solution. We found out ways to enhance it with AI. When we talk about marketing, it's a word that I don't enjoy much because if you go in a room, and I did this experiment with one of my workshops, right? I had 60 business leaders in a room, and I asked them, what does marketing mean for you? Each and one of them had a different explanation, which is terrible.
Mm,
Because then nobody knows, well, what do you do with marketing? Is it getting more leads? Is it publishing content? Is it using different social media? I use the word attention. At the end of the day, right, you got a solution, you got your shop out there. People need to know you exist. You need to get their attention. Now, can you get that with ads, with content, with the solution like Pencil? Probably yes. Can you get it with VO3 if you generate AI videos and you go viral on TikTok? Probably yes. Can you get it with text output if you have a newsletter that you're sending it to thousands of people? Yes. Attention. Third thing, closing, sales. I go there, I don't tell them, it's like, oh, you should check out these latest LLM techniques. Nobody cares. No business owner cares about the latest RAG techniques. They want to know how can I close more sales? Because I got coaching in the last year on also the sales part, we're going to see how we can improve your sales flows, workflows to close more deals.
mm,
That's what businesses want.
yeah.
That's where AI is at.
100%. So you've kind of alluded to the business leaders that are coming into your workshops, and like the companies that you're going to work with, and you work with businesses across the spectrum from sort of startup, scale up, all the way up to enterprise. What are the biggest differences between the enterprise customers and the smaller businesses? Where are enterprises struggling most, do you think?
Office politics. Now, aside from the
Yeah,
jokes,
yeah. Apart from
aside from the,
AI is never going to solve that, sadly. Yeah.
you think it's a joke, but anyway, so the thing is, right, on enterprise side, you need more leadership endorsement
Okay.
because I have teams coming from all different departments
Yeah.
and they're not that connected between each other, right? Like, for example, I had workshops with a big automotive company and they had branches all over the world, right? And then you put these people in one room and they don't really know each other. But if they have like leadership that supports them, that tells them, hey, we are here together with this clear objective in mind, that's what actually creates more impact because you're seeing that your higher ups, right, are there in
Yeah.
the trenches with you.
Yeah.
That is a challenge I'm seeing sometimes from the enterprise side. On the smaller scale, the startup side, they need clear use cases because they're small. They don't have much budget, right? They don't have much capability to try out 50 different use cases. So we mostly try to give them also a clear action plan. So I'm not going to tell them, hey, here's 20 tools, try them out. It's like, what are your three main focus areas? Do you want to improve your customer service? Do you want to improve your lead, like your time to lead? For example, what I'm saying when I say time to lead, because one of the good solutions we have out there is to respond faster to leads with automation.
Sure.
You got somebody filling out your inbound form, sending a request, sending a DM, answering that lead in the next 2 minutes or the next 2 hours is huge money difference. So this is where AI can definitely help, and this is one of the use cases that we can actually help smaller companies, right? To tell them you probably have a lead database. Are you engaging with them consistently? Are you answering immediately? Most of them are not. I can tell you
Mm.
that their time, like their time for like action towards a lead is like 1 to 2 days, which is terrible. So that's what the difference is. Like in terms of enterprise, they need more leadership engagement. In the terms of smaller companies, they need more clarity on what exactly they want to be tackling.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point about leadership endorsement, because often I think, the leadership may not be AI native in a way that perhaps, like we talk a lot about, the people that are actually using the tools on the ground versus the leadership. Obviously, people hear the buzzwords in the media and on the live streams or whatever it may be, but actually the teams that are using it day to day often might have more experience with platforms like Pencil, like model aggregators where there's, lots of different models. People are going to be more up to date with, what's the best one for creating this type of creative, what's the best one for creating that type of creative, that perhaps, maybe the leadership isn't as close to. So do you see that when you're in with enterprise customers, that there's a difference between, the creatives on the ground working day to day and the leadership? Or is it maybe just like a risk aversion at the top? Like, what's the kind of dynamic there?
Two different scenarios I see, and there's usually extremes. Either leadership is very on top of the game, so because one of the things that we do, right, we don't only do like workshops or automation setup, we also have like leadership strategy sessions, right, where we bring in the room the leadership to explain to them why we're doing this, what tools we're using, and how the process is happening. They might not like it, but I don't care. I want them to be aware of what's happening because otherwise they're gonna go all over the place telling me like, I have an idea. Why don't we put on a robocaller that can call this list of 5,000 people in the U.S. And I'm like, do you know that it's illegal to do outbound AI calls in the U.S.? So I need to kind of manage a little bit their expectations, and that's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
kind of push towards. I want you to see what we're doing so you know what's possible. Now, when I say extremes, because they are either fire and forget. They're like, here's the money, go do it, and that's not good at all. Or they're like, I've been using AI daily, I've been using it for brainstorming, all this stuff. Not me, I mean the leadership, CEOs.
Mm.
And what they need is that knowledge, that attitude to trickle down to the other people in the teams. Those are the best case scenarios. But as I said, usually it's one of the two.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, I tell them, cool. Whenever we go in the next session with your team, you come on board for the first 10 minutes. You show them your examples, and I'll take it from there. Because that's the best way that people are actually gonna pay attention, leading by example. And to the ones that are like fire and forget, I'll be honest with you. That's where I got the least results. That's
Right.
where kind of our AI transformation initiatives failed. That's where engagement just fizzled out. After a couple of months of trying to do this, we had like 2 to 3 AI champions, people excited, enthusiastic. But when you don't have proper support, like I cannot be the only guy coming there and busting people's bees to just tell them it's like, hey, try out these tools. Does this work for you? And leadership is like, oh, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Let's see the best that happens. Like that's not a good way of doing things.
Yeah, I think I feel like that mentality is changing, because I remember talking to like large, like legacy enterprises back, when we were first speaking a couple of years ago about implementing AI tools, and some of them would say no AI at all. We're not using any AI tools in our organization. They were so risk averse about, like what the models have been trained on and whatever else, that they couldn't see the potential upside, I think. And I suspect that mentality is changing now. I can't imagine there's too many CEOs in large enterprises that are putting a blanket ban on all AI tools. I mean, look, maybe I'm wrong. Like, what do you think?
No, you're not wrong. But it also kind of makes sense. So you see, I come from Europe where risk aversion is ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually
me
holding
too,
us
man.
back
Me too. Yeah.
a lot. But there are some changes we noticed in the industry. I mean, also in terms of like AI capabilities. All right. So if you'd ask me, for example, can you do for us AI? Like, can you do for us like advertising with image assets with AI 2 years ago? They were not good, Tom. Like they were okayish. We liked them, right? We were enthusiasts, but were these production ready images that can convince people to buy a product? No.
Yeah.
Nowadays, almost 2 years later, you do see video is getting much better. Coca-Cola did another ad with AI that got even better. People hate
Mm.
it, some people, but it's getting more and more production ready. You
Yeah.
have these advertisements that can hold images consistently in a video.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
more seven fingers on a person, right? So now it's becoming really interesting. Like I have in mind this meme sometimes, right? When they say, I've been seeing less AI written articles. And there's this normal face smiling, and then there's another face that's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Same with the
100%.
images. Like, I've
Yeah.
been seeing less and less AI generated images. Are you seeing less?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Think about
100%.
that.
Yeah, you're totally right. And like everything you're just saying about the quality, like that's exactly our kind of position in this market. It's the reason why Pencil is a, we're a model aggregator, right? So we
Yeah.
have it. So all when the latest model goes live, it's in Pencil, so that if you're an enterprise, you can just pick the best one. So Nano Banana comes out, it's like okay, everyone's on Nano Banana now because
Yeah.
it's got such good fidelity and consistency that everybody moves across. Then when OpenAI releases Sora, okay, video, we're all on Sora 2 now, whatever it is. Not just calling out those, there are lots of models out there, but
And there will be many more. The Chinese ones are also super good. So, like, we're seeing very healthy competition now compared to the past.
right, yeah, yeah, totally. And I think that everything you say about that quality, that fidelity, the number of fingers, all of those little things, they're so good now, and that product consistency, you're right. That's something that everybody said, oh, you'll never get there. And I thought that. I remember, like, when we were talking about AI tools, thinking, well, you're just going to be having to cut out your product and paste it onto your images probably for the next 10 years, because it's never going to be that specific. And it totally is now. It's like, yeah,
Right? So that's what I'm saying. In the past, like a couple of years ago, it still made sense to be risk averse if you're like a CEO, right? Like, because you know that the old stuff is still working, you have these new opportunities, but you see them right there. Like sometimes they work, sometimes they doesn't. Nowadays, it costs 10 times less to do this stuff compared to 2 years ago.
yeah,
Technology got much better. You have competitors. You have people that can also help you with that, right? So let's say 2 years ago, there were like four guys like me. Nowadays, there's many more people that maybe are like even specialized in a specific tool, right? That you know that they can hold your hand if you don't know what you're doing, which creates all these elements together that are improving adoption, right? When people are saying, okay, this would cost me 10 times less, might as well try it out now. After 2 years, people keep talking about it. It's not just like a, what do you call, like a phase or like a trend,
yeah, yeah,
right? Because in the past, of course, there's always these kind of technological trends, for a couple of months, everybody tries it out. New social media comes out after like 1 month, fizzled out. You never know it
yeah.
even existed. This stuff, people keep talking about it for like 2.5 years now. It's getting better and better. You would not be a very smart CEO to keep ignoring it at this point.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the? I'm sure you probably have, but for people watching, the Chat GPT retention curve. Somebody published a like cohort retention curve for Chat GPT, where usually you expect, like if lots of users are up here and this is time, right? You expect it to drop off and then it just drops and drops and drops and then falls off, right? That's a typical retention curve. Lots of users at the beginning, not very many at the end. Whereas ChatGPT actually starts doing this and then it starts curving back up again as people they go away and then they come back because they realize that it's so useful to them that they can't go back to whatever it was they were doing before. And
It's
I mean, I don't know
crazy.
if it's yeah,
It's
it's
crazy. I can tell you, it's only this little event that happened to me because like I got banned for 2 days from ChatGPT last year because I was doing some experiments. I was like basically red teaming it, and I was trying a couple of prompts that would give you very controversial results. It would basically kind of bypass its security filter and would just spit out everything that it had in its like database. It will talk about like blood, terrible things. I posted this right on Twitter just to show people like, hey, don't do this prompting because it will mess it up. This should be fixed. I go check again my chat GPT, you have been suspended. And this in this moment, I'm like, so I'm gonna go now to Google Docs, I'm gonna start from scratch. Are you crazy? What
right.
life is
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
I mean, think about a title. Do I have to put here like a little draft, of like the because even now it's nice, when you can put together like an executive summary, right? And you put those little bullet points in the beginning, and then you start with the content. But if I would do that manually, man, that's so boring.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I find with something like that, like a written doc, I almost my I think in the same process, but it's just so much faster. So I'll think, okay, so what's my intro, and then I'll just write it
Right.
really really badly, in bullet points, spelling mistakes, not even sentences, put it in, and then and then what's my middle section, same again. What's my end section, same again, and then I just say to whichever AI tool I'm using, I jump around, but I just say review, critique, and then it'll critique it, and then I'll say, okay, now put that into a structure, and then I've got a bullet point structure, and only then do I start going for the final product. But it's that would be the same way that I would do it if I was writing it all by hand, but I just don't have to do the full, the full rewrites.
Right.
So I can see that we are getting questions coming through. So if you are watching, everybody, drop your questions onto the LinkedIn or YouTube. We're live on both. Drop questions on, and for Alex, and I will make sure to leave some time to ask them.
You can
I
also
will
ask
just
me if what do I think about pineapple pizza, because for those of you that don't know, I come from Italy and it's absolute no. Please, if you ever
okay.
come visit me, don't order pineapple pizza here. Let's proceed.
Well, I'm
Just wanted to
hoping.
mention this, it's important.
Sure thing. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping the questions will be about AI workflow automation, but let's see. Who knows? Um, so look, like the last thing I'll ask you before we move on is just like on a practical level, when you're talking to people who have not really embraced AI at work, um, what's like a first practical step that they could take to start moving into the like enterprise AI world? So I mean, we can assume maybe they use ChatGPT or something in their personal life. I don't know. I think everybody does now. But from a work related perspective, what's like the first practical step that you would say to somebody in a coaching session?
You don't even touch AI. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do an audit of your current tasks at work. I'm telling you this why? Because sometimes I got people coming to me and they say, "Oh, I checked the news, I know this latest update." So my question is, are you making money with the AI news? No, you're not. So, what you're going to do is sit down, understand what are you doing with those 8 hours per day in your job? Are you doing research? Are you writing stuff? Are you calling clients? Are you preparing, reports and stuff like that? Sit down, please. Take those 30 minutes, write them down. It doesn't have to do nothing with AI, because at the end of the day, I do like AI productivity. I don't do AI for AI's sake.
Mm.
We're doing it to increase productivity, to cut costs, to make companies faster, leaner, smarter, right? Now, you cannot find a valuable use case of AI if you don't know what you're doing daily. Because what you're going to end up is going to end up, you're going to be ending up in like the AI tool salad, trying
Yeah,
out
yeah,
17 of them and hoping for the best. And you wasted your dopamine, your money, and your time, which is the worst thing to do. Once I see it written down, funny enough, you can even skip the AI part. So if you can find, for example, some people tell me, right, I have to do a lot of calculation with spreadsheets. I can literally figure out for you with ChatGPT formulas and scripts so that you can do that task faster, right?
mm.
So it's not like you necessarily have to use AI, but we will use it, right? So once we have clarity on what are your most repetitive tasks, what is stuff that you're doing again and again that you notice it's a time sink, I will find specific tools that are relevant for your job to make that easier. And once people notice this, they have like a clear action plan, that makes things much easier.
Mm.
Because that's the thing, right? If I go to you and say like, let's figure out, let's try this out, or maybe you have some ideas, they don't. They come to you because they don't have ideas. You're supposed to be guiding them, but how? By knowing first what they are doing and what can be improved.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. We refer to that as use case mapping, and I think that's
Yeah,
often like, yeah, at an enterprise level, people working on Pencil, can be a really useful phase to go through. Is just map all of the use cases in your, well, for Pencil in your marketing operation, I guess for you across your enterprise generally, where there is potential for AI amplification, productivity boost. So yeah, I think that's really solid advice. So look, I have a couple of questions on here that I think we should
hit me,
start digging into. So
hit me.
where are we? Um, so first up from Lorenzo. At the moment, most large companies have small groups or departments that get AI. Do you think that in these large companies, expertise will always sit in specialist teams, or will AI literacy become a standard across the whole organization, just like digital literacy did? Good
It
question.
will become a standard.
Yeah.
Like, for the simple reason that I cannot imagine a world where you don't know what you're doing with AI, right? Like, these tools are only becoming better, faster, more integrated, and there you are, you as a dinosaur from 2012, not knowing anything about them. Like, how could you properly function in this kind of new society? It gives me like the same vibes, like you have like a phone and you don't have WhatsApp or Telegram or these like, tools you're using SMS. Yeah, sure, you can still do it, but like, are you going to be able to be competitive? Are you going to be able to be on top of the game like with others, right? If you stop and think about it, even for messages, we can still send pigeons if you wanted to, but you're smart enough to send emails. So in the next 5 years, everybody ideally you would think they would be smart enough to put AI to work for them instead of keep doing things manually.
100%. Cool. Thanks for the question, Lorenzo. Okay, so another one from Anna. How do you measure success for a team that is becoming AI capable? Beyond tool adoption, what indicators show that a team has truly integrated AI into their workflow?
It's not technology, it's psychology. What do I mean with this? Because a lot of times people get stuck on the tool stack, in the prompts, and this kind of stuff. But actually, the biggest fails we've noticed is when people do it a couple of times and then they stop. And they go back to the stuff from before, right? How they used to do. Because it's a thing, it's a habit that
Mm,
you are developing with time, right? When they ask me, how did you learn how to prompt? Because I did thousands of garbage prompts, that's why, for years, until
yeah.
I finally started to click and improve the way I talk with these systems, right? So, what we measure success is when people are confident using AI to make their tasks easier and better, right? We have, for example, people that are working in sales that are using AI co-pilots to get a quick pulse check of the client, right? They do feedback analysis after every call to see where did they drop the ball. How can they improve their conversion metrics? Now they don't do this twice. They do this every time so that they keep improving their performance. And it does work. They do improve because normally nobody we all know we should do these retrospectives. How many times do we do it? Never.
Right. Yeah. So that's literally take the transcript and then get an AI to critique it.
Simplest use case. We can do
Yeah.
much more, but I swear I literally
No,
doubled
no,
my
no. I think
close
that's a
rate
good
just
idea.
by taking the script and prompting it. I want you to be a tough love coach, roast me. I don't want to feel good. I just want to become better at this. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, it's
yeah,
going to tell you, you did great, you're wonderful. Just a tiny little change. It's not a tiny little change. A lot of times, you dropped the ball. Client told you, like the lead told you something, you missed the cue, you didn't address the objection, and you just lost like a $8,000 contract.
yeah, yeah. I
Happened
think
to me. That got me
that's
really upset, and that's where I went to do proper prompt engineering so that never happens again. It's
yeah, yeah.
emotional.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it. Yeah. Look, I think that to me seems like one of the biggest challenges with AI now is to get it to not be so nice, because often you're right, it won't be critical enough, and sometimes like you do have to convince it to be critical, sometimes a couple of times before you'll actually get a properly critical response. Um, yeah, and yeah, I guess that's probably
One little pro tip I can share here, you
yeah.
always have now in all the tools like in Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, you have the option to fix the custom instructions so it answers in a specific way in all the new prompts. I always instruct it to be like one of the sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. I don't share these prompts like with the clients. Like I don't share these chats with the client. But for myself and my day-to-day work, I wanted to talk with me like a drill sergeant, and it's
Yeah.
great.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I'll give that a try. Yeah, and look, I think that's over time going to be one space where agents come in, right? You're going to be pairing that kind of like custom prompt with tool use, right? So if you want the agent to use this tool, you want the agent to use this tool in this way, to be very analytical for an analytics tool, or to be a bit more verbose with a copywriting tool or whatever. I think pairing that kind of master prompting to the tool or to the workflow that you're using is probably going to be a really important area for the development of the field, I suspect. Would you agree with
One
that?
of the main components that's going to stay relevant is actually the human in the loop. For the simple reason that we've noticed is like when we do full automations of projects, the problem you're having when it's fully automated is like nobody improves it because there's no human in the loop. So
Mm.
if you set up, for example, for cold email, right? You set up a sequence, and it's automated on A/B testing, all this good stuff. You follow best practices. Yes, they're being sent. AI agent starts engaging with them. If things are not working perfectly or they can be improved, you will never know because it's completely AI run. This is why you still need a person to supervise the process and say, agent is doing the work, but I think we can still get the 2% extra conversion optimization. That's one of the dangers that I'm seeing with completely like deploying only agents out there. They don't improve the process, they just do it. They just listen like slaves to the work, but they never
Yeah.
come back to you with proactive tips on like, hey, by the way, why don't you do this to make it better? They don't do that. None of these
Yeah.
tools do that, the automation tools.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think the human in the loop is more more essential than people realize. You know,
Yeah,
the death of
like
the human.
experts in the loop, I would say literally like experts in the loop make the AI valuable. Otherwise, without it, you're gonna get a mediocre worker,
Yeah, yeah.
which
100%.
I don't know if you actually need that or not.
Yeah. No, I think you're totally right. And you see the difference in quality of outputs with an expert
Yeah.
using AI versus a layman, 100%. Um, so a comment from Bianca who says, so true, I've worked with multiple companies doing AI training. The difference is insanely evident when leadership is involved and when they aren't. Yeah, so someone agreeing with your point there about leadership buy-in. Let's see if we've got any more questions. I
It's
think that
simply like
might be.
that works with like the leadership buy-in because again it's like leading by example. Even in my career when I was at Google, the people I respected the most were those that were leading with an example, right? Like they were giving us ideas, they were showing us how to talk with clients. There was leadership telling us, hey, why don't you read this book? It's really good for your personal development. I read it last weekend, right? And that gains you the respect. Like they gain my respect that way, right?
Yeah,
Because it's not a leader because your title says it, it's because you prove it with your actions. And that works for everything, not just AI deployment.
yeah. 100%. Okay, so we do have one final question from Anna. If a team has limited resources, where should they start? Data quality, use case selection, or culture change? Well, that's a good question. So I'll repeat the options. Data
Culture
quality.
change. Culture change.
Yeah,
Culture
okay.
change because it always comes from the people. If I bring you excellent data quality and a lot of money to a team that don't care about this stuff, nothing is going to change.
Mm,
If I bring the minimal resources and minimal clarity to a team of enthusiastic people who want to put AI to work, you're going to get a lot of results. Because they're going to be the ones going out there, figuring out cost-effective solutions, being excited about it, and putting in the extra effort that other companies are not doing it. It's always, if you go back, is the psychology, not the technology.
100%. Brilliant. All right. Well, look, that's all of the audience questions we have. So we are kind of running against time. So look, as we think about wrapping up, then, is there anything that I haven't covered off about the work that you're doing that you think is especially interesting that we should be covering that could be interesting to a pencil or wider audience?
One little thing that I could say addition is like, I think one of the biggest results that we got with people, the little hacks that I can share with you is just put in your calendar a 30-minute weekly slot for AI testing. AI
Okay.
testing, AI fun. A lot of times with all the companies we work with, like we give all these ideas and all these tools and whatever, but then people come to us and say, I didn't have time to test. So now we have two little things that we do. We give people, we put like a time block in their calendar, one per week, right? One per week, 30 minutes, AI experimenting and fun. Second thing is share this with a person. Share this with a colleague, with your wife, with your husband, with your kids, with the person next to you. I think this actually increases AI literacy significantly. Like in a 3 month span, this has been working wonderful. And I'm saying this for all the listeners out there who are not at the big enterprise or who don't care about AI. Just have some fun for 30 minutes per week, and if it works, share it with somebody that you like or you want to talk more, and this is actually going to put you on the right path, and it's going to give you a lot of results that you wouldn't expect otherwise because it compounds with time.
Yeah. Nice. Good advice. Awesome. All right. Well, look, before we go then, what have you got coming up? What are you excited about? Where can people find you and keep up with what you're doing? What's next in your diary that you're excited about right now?
They can find me in 6 days in Lithuania, where there's going to be the AI Europe Summit. I'll be one of the main speakers there, teaching around like 500 business owners and leaders how to become an AI first company. So I'll be there in person, not my chatbot, not my AI avatar. You can shake my hand, you can grab espresso with me. You'll find me for, I think I'm going to be there for like 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Lithuania, Vilnius. Otherwise, they can find me on my website. They can check out the solutions that we have at northstarbrain.com. Simple as that. Or just on LinkedIn, where you find daily memes and practical tips about AI. That's what I enjoy doing. And I've been doing it for a few years, and I'm going to keep doing it until, I don't know, until forever, if we're
Until
going
the
to
AI
live
takes
forever.
over.
Until
And
the AI takes over.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Well, look, and a wonderful job you do of it too. I'll certainly be keeping up with you on LinkedIn. So look, everybody, that's it for another week. I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. I know I have. As Alex says, check him out on LinkedIn. Go and give him a follow. Lots of really useful advice, tips, and tricks, as well as the memes, as discussed. We have lots of very exciting guests coming up over the next few weeks. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and join us back here every Tuesday. But for now, that's everything. Alex, thanks so much for joining us. It's been awesome to see you
Arrivederci.
again, buddy. Nice one. Thanks, everybody.